everyone. Welcome back to a Bitcoin. What? All right. Calm down, calm down. That's all right. Everybody just relax. No, anyway. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. Woohoo! What do we say? Bitcoin popped up through the top yesterday. In fact, I think it actually broke out while I was right in the middle of a video broadcast, if I'm not mistaken. I remember on Sunday I had a couple of shorts off the lower time frames working, and they got stopped out as the video was coming. We were doing. You probably remember. You heard the little stop out signals happen, and then I came back from Liam's trip, and holy moly, everything was just jumping up. It looks like that's continuing. I suppose I'm getting a little bit concerned. I noticed when I loaded up the dashboard here today, and we've seen this. Hopefully, regular viewers of this broadcast and people who use the awesome dashboard and algorithms that we've built here to help you sort of frame behavior and setups and stuff. Little concerning to see the country funds, basically the proxy on the world equity markets, all basically getting overbought here again. That's a little dangerous. That usually when we see that, it means we're getting close to a top. The S&P 500, big basket of U.S. blue chip stocks, not quite there yet. And as you can see from the S&P 500 breadth indicator itself, we did perk into that overbought condition on the fast indicator. Things have calmed down here a little bit. Anything, I'd almost like to see one more push up here. And then, we're here at the beginning of, actually, I guess it's about the middle of April now. And the old cliche, of course, is sell in May and walk away. So we're getting awfully close. We're near the end of this seasonal window. The algorithms and basically the sentiment. If anything, you could probably even call this quantitative analysis. The sentiment in the space, things that are uppy. Let's put it that way. Stocks in general, and it feels like it's more almost like brick and mortar are doing better. Tech's not really doing that well here right now, but generally speaking, S&P 500 kind of companies fairly uppy, and of course, crypto's having a good old time here. I will say, and of course, this is always a comment on the evolution of these algorithms and the platform. I was really surprised to see the fast indicator actually ticked down overnight. Last reading here showing April 10th, and here we are, April 11th. So following the weekend, I was a little surprised to see the actual algo tick down. So that was a little bit of a surprise. Nothing really out of the broader cryptoverse. And there you can see the S&P still bullish, but looking a little dangerous up here. If anything, the one thing that just keeps resonating with me is the fact that we have all of these 5s and 6s right across crypto. So not really a very good market to short. And if anything, we went through a bunch of names yesterday, I pulled up the sheet, the rags this morning, and oh boy, green all over the place in crypto land. If I'm not mistaken, if we pop on over, actually, we'll get into crypto in a bit. Let's maybe just back up a little bit. So, what's the broader market sentiment right now? As I kind of said, brick and mortar, old school, conservative investing by banks, by, healthcare, energy, industrials. It's kind of a meh market. Seasonally, things are slowly working their way up into seasonal peaks, which makes perfect sense. But tech seems to be a little bit heavy here, which is a bit of a surprise. Remember, we did see, the first 2 weeks study. We're keeping a close eye on that. This is by far one of the best tools you can possibly use to sort of give you an idea of what to expect for the coming quarter. And if anything, maybe if we're lucky down the road, we can get a tool like this on our website. But for now, using the good people at stockcharts.com's utility. So if we go back to beginning of April here, now the 10th, we're 5 days in. Still think we're probably a little bit early in the reporting period. It's interesting how healthcare and utilities are catching quite a bit here. There's communication services. Of course, that's what we saw dramatically outperform at the beginning of last quarter. I don't know. I get the feeling like this is an incomplete report here. And remember, last week was kind of a weird holiday. Of course, Friday was a holiday, so we didn't really have that many days reporting. And yesterday was kind of a weird sort of semi-holiday. It wasn't really a holiday, but it was to a certain degree. So I'm going to still reserve judgment until the 14th, but it is interesting to see how things like discretionary and tech and stuff are actually backing off here a little bit. Anyway, keep our eyes peeled. And as I said, interesting to see Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, all the big boys that were leading the charge up over the past 5-10 years or so. They're kind of calming down now a bit. Interesting, Tesla's working its way up. I don't know whether I would consider that a real trade or anything. Kind of looks like it's just caught in no man's land. It's interesting, this FinViz is trend line drawing. You can see we're slipping below this particular trend line that they've drawn. And I might start to conjecture, if you get AMS, any kind of bearish structure below this trend line, then, the stock's got a bit of trouble. For the time being, it looks like that's just range bound. Something actually, and I just tweeted it out, but it's here's another fantastic lesson for you guys. If you're watching this video stream, please pass the word around. I try and give you guys stuff all the time as little tools and tidbits that you can use to help you. To that end, I actually even just tweeted out, how often do gaps get filled in? You want to add this to your trading repertoire. It's incredibly powerful information. So, back on the 23rd of March, I said, I know this market is going to go higher into the spring. Here's one very clear reason why. 91.4%, not 80%, Adam. Nice to see you. 91.4, right? And there's the chart. And ironically enough, this is a bearish bet on Jim Cramer. Talk about pressure, right? What a life to live where, people actually put mutual funds together that are anti-you. I would feel so terrible if I woke up one day and, all you crypto kids put together a cryptocurrency that takes the exact opposite trade that Brian says. Oh, it'd be terrible. But anyway, regardless of what you think of Jim or not, but, this hole here, it needed to be filled in. Its gaps get filled in like 90% of the time. And sure enough, look what just happened. Whoop, boom, gap filled. Merry Christmas. And then, of course, now we're getting upside bullish engulfing patterns. So we're probably going to see the damn market rally following 8s and 9s from Tom DeMark and all that. Julian loves those kind of signals. So it's just fascinating how this silly universe works. And please, use this information, right? That's the whole point of doing this, is I'm trying to make a positive difference in this world, trying to help you see things a little bit better. So the point I guess I'm trying to make with all of that is I'm a little concerned that, seasonally we're coming into the end of this move. And I'm a little worried. I don't like actually how much bullish rhetoric I see coming out of the crypto space right now. It's getting a little scary. When I see like Bitcoin blast through 30,000, bear market finally over. What? I don't think there's been a bit of a bull rally here. And the funny thing is that the bull market started right on cue. Again, everything that I try and teach you in this channel, it was a very typical seasonal trade. Really wasn't anything out of the ordinary. If we pull up the Ethereum chart, this happens to be on Coinigy, and actually we're going to be doing the Coinigy shows again. Really excited to get this up and running again with the Coinigy gang. And if anything, probably 6 months prior to the Bitcoin halving event, that's when we should probably try and keep these things going. And sort of, reinvigorate the space. So the fact that you hear that Brian and the good people at Coinigy are actually going to try and get the bat shows going, that should be sort of a marker that, hey, we're starting to get ready for a new Bitcoin bull. The only problem here is, you just look at this chart again, what I just said there a moment ago, this was stunningly cliche. You just can't get any more cliche than this. This was tax loss selling, and you can't give this stuff away. And you remember Brian saying, do you have your together? Are you ready? Do you have your plan? Do you have your capital? Do you have the exchange you're working on? Do you have your trade setups? What are your reasons to justify risking your hard-earned money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And look at that beautiful W there, right into the end of the year. This was just so cliche, it's ridiculous. So here we are, way up here now, and what the hell? This market's gone up. That's like a 50% increase in price. And now we've got a big fundamental event. And how ironic they use the name Shanghai. I don't know whether anybody in the crypto space knows what the expression being Shanghaied actually means. But maybe after the video is done, go and Google that. What does he mean by Shanghaied? It's not a good term. Let's put it that way. It's a interesting history lesson. So here we are, way up top, and of course now people are saying that the bear market's finally over. Where have you been for the past 6 months? Come on, people. Drives you crazy. Anyway, and if anything, this is perfect because this is exactly the way the markets function. And in the lounge this morning, I noticed a lot of our OGs basically pointing out that, oh God, now we're going to have all the public compiling in here. Look at, we got banged off references. I can't believe that these guys are gone now. Oh, it's incredible how this world is so bizarre. Anyway, so the sentiment, of course, around TRI, hopefully, and I think I generally see that is that, markets rallying into some big fundamental events, Shanghai and all that. Interesting. This is just sort of a funny, this is kind of like wicks and tails kind of conversation. Somebody here at these crypto news agencies talking a little, and I haven't watched this podcast, but it looks like they're super excited about what they're doing there in crypto. But this person, Andre, just for the record, Andre, if you ever watch this or you know who this is, pass it on to him. Elizabeth Warren is actually from the great state of Washington, not Massachusetts. I'm not quite sure where this gentleman got the Massachusetts reference from, but and I don't even know, is that Massachusetts? Is that how you spell Massachusetts? I don't know. Anyway, so I thought that was kind of funny when I was reading through this, and it just they might have even done that on purpose, just as kind of a side there. But I'm a little worried. The only reason why I went down this road here this morning is I'm a little worried that, of course, the Bitcoin price is moving up egregiously here. And, well, no, that's not the right word. It's moving up smartly. I'm a little worried that, of course, that we're heading into these fundamental events. I even saw things like the Motley Fool is now starting to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Why on earth is Solana being thrown in all this mix? So I find that a little bit odd, but I did see that Solana has moved up sharply here as well. I'm sure there's some sort of reason why Solana. Keep in mind, this is, of course, SBF's. I don't even know. Do you call it his baby? It's riddled with errors. It's interesting how there was one gentleman who said that Solana was going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. I don't know whatever happened to all that crew, but Solana's been kind of on its knees lately. Technically speaking, though, actually, it doesn't look too bad. So, all right. So I guess the point here is that, very typical seasonal price behavior, moving into peaks, into the spring. I'm wondering what's the best page to move forward from. A little bit, I'm scratching my head right now at how the algo, of course, is still suggesting softness in the crypto market. It is what it is. Did go through a number of different names, of course, and we talked a little bit about setups. I think I did that yesterday, and I think I noticed Chris went through and looked at a few of these and the YouTube video that he produced. Some positive feedback. Was interesting. Somebody said, you're doing rational analysis and you're doing it on shaltcoins? What the heck does that mean? I suppose you could argue, a rational analyst is just simply somebody who combines fundamental analysis and technical analysis to try and come up with an overall picture of what they think is going to happen. And of course, hopefully the both camps agree. And when both camps agree, you often get pretty nice price movement. Could you not argue that something like ETH's fundamental event here, which is clearly a fundamental event, is driving price? Sentiment-wise, you put it all together, and what a big surprise. Of course, technically, I showed you it was a really nice buy there at the end of the year. Maybe not so much now. And price is moving up into that event. That makes sense. And I think that's good rational analysis. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've often suggested to you, and anybody who's a critic of this, that it's actually a pretty good idea if you are going to risk your hard-earned money in the marketplace, that you just try and find a fundamental reason for why your asset is going to move up. Is it a new product or service that they're bringing out? Is it, a new white paper? Is it, being listed on one of these cryptocurrency exchanges? And of course, CZ and all his crew are going to pump the crap out of it. I mean, that's maybe a little bit more quantitative analysis, but, something like ICOs, well, that's fundamentals. So I don't think there's anything really wrong with that. I think what's more important here is that you try and just have multiple unrelated reasons to justify your asset moving higher in price. In fact, we teach in the course that we have to try and help you sort of get started doing this, living this world of rational analysis, that you have 3 unrelated technical reasons: location, indicator confirmation, price structure. Go if you want to sprinkle in some, well, this is a fundamentally good idea because they've got this product or service coming down the pike. And that ETH example was actually absolutely textbook example of what I mean by a rational analysis. And of course, you can see how the market's moved up smartly W's, and up she goes. So, we have anything really econ or news driven? I did find it interesting that when I was sort of going through the rags, trying to figure out why Bitcoin was rallying and all that kind of fun stuff, like the Motley Fool, they actually are blaming the reason why crypto has come down here because of the Fed, right? See, they have started to rally on the hopes that the Federal Reserve will soon pivot. So how ironic that old school, Wall Street, Jim Cramer, all that, they're actually blaming the sell-off in crypto on the Fed. So that I'm sure people within the crypto space are kind of like, man, there's a couple other reasons that are happening. But I have made that comparison. It's a bit off topic, but I actually do, to a certain degree, agree with this assessment by the Motley Fool, because that is basically, where are we here? That is this image. I think I did this. I don't know whether I did this on a public show or whether I just did it in the after party, but this is that pivot that we're talking about. And I still think we're about 4 or 5 months ahead of that pivot. I don't think we're there yet. I do think, and I think we've pointed it out on the price charts recently. I don't remember which one it was. But even down here, every Sunday, I like to do a weekly, daily, monthly, weekly, daily 4-hour review of the corn. And you can even see, I said here, with big FA events just ahead, it's hard to believe the market break comes before those. And if anything, I thought I had pointed out on this chart, Shanghai is actually here, and I think it's either today or tomorrow. And we also have the big Mount Gox event. I think I pointed that out on the weekly chart up here. Mount Gox, 140,000 Bitcoins. We, of course, have got Mr. SEC throwing his weight around. We also have the SBF trial. When does that get going? But none of this stuff is here right today. So as a result, and I think I had pointed out on this lower time frame chart, we still actually have a couple big, fat, bullish targets out here that I think could very easily be hit. And I had drawn on the volume profile the fact that the POC had been moved up so much here. If you look at this distribution of volume, it almost looked to me, and I've just been playing this game forever, so maybe I'm hallucinating a bit, but this profile really wants to look like a parabola, and you can see there's value low. So you notice that there's kind of some empty space up here. We're probably going to do exactly the same image up top here that you see down here. So if we actually go and look at the real-time price chart, we actually see that that's basically what's happening, eh? So there is that image. There's Mr. Hoagland up top there. There he is down below, value low. Just a simple replication probably means we need to go up into this area, and you can see that that's happening. Interesting too how the price movement higher here is on almost no volume. So same sort of thing here. This is now starting to feel a little bit trappy. So I'm a little bit scared. Once we clean out these big bot objectives, then what happens, if anything, we need to be pleased, happy that we didn't crap out at the top of this megaphone here. We actually accepted higher. That's a good sign. Because if we look at it from a weekly perspective, now all of these dojis, remember we said 3 weeks of doji. Now we could probably even do like 2-week charts now here. And doji, right? This is nothing more than now what's called a midpoint consolidation. Doji is indecision. There's no doubt about that, but it can either be an indecision top, i.e. like a empire top, or it can be like an indecision midpoint of a move. This isn't the best doji, but you see how that's kind of like a big move here, then a consolidation, and then the secondary move here. So it looks to me like this is basically, A to B, boom to boom, and C to D. Take us up into here. We might get some moonshots all the way up. And ironically enough, this is pretty darn cliche. And actually, it's kind of cool because we're going to do the Coinigy shows. I met with the Coinigy show people this morning, and it was a lot of fun just getting everything all ready to go for you guys tomorrow and making sure this is all tickety-boo. And we actually did some recent tutorials on using things like fib retracements, reload zones, first stop targets, call it buck chaser zone. We did fib extensions, parking garages. And then we also did, which is a really special treat, and I don't see anybody online, anyone on the interneting do this. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to incorporate it into the education program. But we also added chaos theory tutorials on the Coinigy platform as well. So if you want to learn how to do chaos theory, point here is we actually had a bunch of upside objectives here. Yeah, it looks like the market wants to punch its way up into these levels. So we'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. Also, really good analogy that when you have all of these moving averages all acting as support, and if you look at a bunch of altcoins, we just went through the list. It's like name after name after name down here. There was one that popped up really nicely here this morning. And it was interesting because it's probably like a shirtcarn, as they say. But what the hell, man? I'm not a snob. I'll make money if something looks good, I'll buy it. Actually, that one sure looks like he's getting going. But somebody actually had posted in the lounge. Thanks for the idea, Brian. That was just awesome. I can't remember which one it was here. Anyway, it was one that we were just looking at. Anyway, it had taken off, and when we were talking about it online, somebody had stepped in on bought a W, and they are getting paid nicely here this morning. Yeah, God, it always happens when you're right in the middle of one of these presentations. I can't remember which one it was. Anyway, I guess just the point I'm trying to make is it's a pretty uppy looking market. There's a good example. See how these moving averages, everything is sort of acting as support here. And oh, what a big surprise. Here comes the W's. All of these moving averages should be very serious support. You can kind of see it in here. And once we sort of cleared through all the moving average resistance, oh boy, there was open air. So, make sure to, I don't really want to chase right now. And if anything, I'm almost feeling like we're coming into the end of the move. As these lower time frame charts have pointed out, we've actually had these levels on the charts now for a few weeks. It sure looks to me like this darn thing wants to rally up into there. But coming in on the buy side up here, if you were playing these bots and you kind of understood how they work and how you're supposed to manage stops and all that kind of fun stuff, okay, fine. It's a little bit more advanced, but even then you should have been buying down in this 25 level, not up here. If anything, what we probably have to see is some sort of consolidation now, and then another bot set up to take us higher. That was a pretty powerful consolidation. So this move is well underway. In fact, as the bot rule goes, and this was an interesting one because we had our rally up. So you start your measurement there, 33.66. We got the 33% retracement. We rallied up. We never really did hit that 50% level, which is a bit suspicious, eh? Came back down, rallied up. Then we had social media people try and spook the market. Then we rallied back up again. Then we came down and look at this beautiful bottom. And remember on Sunday, I was doing the videos and I was, lower time frames. We were seeing some bearish setups come in here. And I shorted a little bit of that off of like the 30-minute chart. As soon as that double bottom came in, boom, I was stopped out. And look at what's happened on the other side of that beautiful W there. Hindsight's 2020. Probably should have just stepped in on the long side when Mr. Social Media Influencer was trying to freak all the kids out. But that's not really my style. My style would have been to just buy that W right there, but I wasn't on the ball. Anyway, that's the way it goes. Having said that, I don't know. I can't justify buying that. It sucks. If anything, take a screenshot of this and just simply say, that Beamish guy says, and in your journal notes, right? Just try and keep an eye out for these W's. Because that's really, if you were going to buy that market, I think that's exactly where you would want it to go long. You even got a nice little Benkoff check off of that W right there to buy. So anyway, it is what it is. So up and away. Happy Bitcoin. As I had shown you earlier, the ETH is rallying into this Shanghai event. Not exactly sure, exactly when this event is. A little concerned that now ETH is basically back up against its previous highs. And if I understand correctly, something like 14 million ETHs are going to unlock. And if I understand correctly, it's going to be one of these slow drips where some people get their coins right away. Other people are going to have to wait. If you used a staking platform to stake your ETH and, like Coinbase, I don't know whether Coinbase, they've got that whole issue with the regulators. I wouldn't be surprised if this now, what's the fundamental driver ahead of us now? And with this, all these coins slowly unlocking, are you going to find some people are going to be motivated to sell? If price just dumps right away, then they won't be motivated to sell. If, however, we sort of hang out here and we slowly M out over time, you can see, in fact, actually with the Coinigy people here today, I even said, I saw this and I went, be careful if the market's going to start smiling at you. We are on a daily price chart, so that's pretty darn relevant. I don't know. Did we go to a new high here? Actually, what time is it? Hey, that's 9:30. Actually, why don't we leave the free video at that for today? We have the after party coming up here tonight, and basically what, I guess 20 minutes or so. Cole's asking, is there any dates for the Coinigy shows? The first pilot show for our Coinigy show is tomorrow night. They'll just replace the Wednesday shows that I was doing on my own with Paul and Ben and Nick and Derek, and we even had Shartoshi on there a little bit. But and if anything, what I wouldn't mind doing is seeing whether we can have those people join us on the Coinigy shows going forward. So we have that pilot. It's sort of an experimental show that we're going to do tomorrow. And we're going to try and do it on a relative, maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. So maybe tune in for that. If you are a TRIer, we'll be sure to have those links posted in the lounge and you know, social media, maybe tweet it out and stuff like that. Actually, you know, here's another cautionary problem that I have with the Bitcoin price right now. Notice, like, we have a rule that really that's not a buy signal until we get a W on the other side of this trend line. So that's just yet another cautionary tale. If anything, if you are bullish and you want to join this party, you're going to have to let this finish its move, then wait and see if we can get a W, bot setups to set up for the next leg higher. So anyway, I just was seeing that while I was winding this conversation up. The irony of it all is I didn't even get to talk to you guys about what I wanted to talk to you about, which was the broader market. But oh well, that's the way it goes. These 30 minutes go by really fast. So we have TRI's CTO, Chief Technology Officer, on the call Tuesdays to do his presentation in the after party here. Sjord, hey, I see him in the call. Sjord, are you here? Let's see if he has a microphone.
I am here. Hi, everyone.
There he is. He's all ready to rock and roll. So I think I'm going to wind the public video up at that. Come on over, hang out in the after party, and we'll talk a little. Actually, I noticed Sjord's his render is just taken off here again. So maybe we'll get a little comment or two from him about that, and see what other ideas in the cryptoverse he's interested in. Yeah, look at his rend is up 10% here today. So there are quite a few names. Actually, oh, look at even your little get is moving higher here. So there you go. All right, so we're going to have an exciting conversation with Sjord here shortly. We have the Coinigy shows coming out tomorrow night, so keep your eyes peeled for that. TRIers, of course, I'll post the links in the lounge. Julian is reporting in that he's feeling much better. He was a little bit under the weather there last week, so that's good to see. And here, so we'll get Julian back in the swing of things here for daily presentations. I know that he has quite a following on the site, so super exciting. And of course, oh, I forgot to mention our Stock Pickers Club. And actually, if I had more time, I would talk to you guys about things like, you know, this. I thought this is hilarious, the Jim Cramer inverse ETF. I had to mention that. But things like you can follow Bitcoin in the broader market, and I do find it interesting. There is the Bitcoin ETF, and you can see it's trying to break out to the upside as well. So we have lots of stuff to talk about in the Stock Pickers Club this evening, and you know, considering look at the size of that gap right there against those key lows. I think we've done this before. Nice inverted head and shoulders. I thought I had this all written up somewhere. Anyway, point is, we'll have a fun conversation with the Stock Pickers Club tonight. Keep in mind, you need to be a site sort of OG to participate in those club meetings. I don't like new people coming in and just, you know, gambling in the market and not following trading plans and not, you know, trading setups, as it were. So, but we'll definitely in the daily brief and in the public broadcast tomorrow, if there's any names that happen to jump out at us that look super sexy, we'll definitely make mention of those. All right. I think we'll leave it at that. Chris, is there anything I was supposed to mention that I didn't? I know I keep talking, blah, blah, blah. Hit the like button, subscribe. I know there's 30 some odd people over there. We got a few likes. So maybe if you do like this video, please help us out. if you get value out of this, I dropped you a couple nuggets of wisdom. If you are actively watching, actively learning, taking notes, journaling, hopefully on a regular basis, I'm dropping little pieces of wisdom for you to make it worthwhile to continually tune in. Tell a friend, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that you know when these shows start. And that, of course, helps get the good word out about things like best practices and how to run your small business of trading.
I said it better myself. There you go.
I beg your pardon?
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's all.
Oh, sweet. All right. So I got the thumbs up from Chris. And actually, nice to see the feedback from the YouTubers. They like you participating as well on the calls. And they give you shouts out for keeping me honest and on course and on cue. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. All the best. And bye for now.